Time now for your forecast first. WRBL News 3 First Alert Weather.
A thunderstorm just rolled through the Auburn area. You can see here from our live camera at Jordan Hare Stadium, wet pavements and, of course, rain still dripping off the areas of our parking garage here. 81 degrees, but the humidity is high. That's the heat index value in this weather story coming up in your First Alert forecast. But right now, let's monitor these couple storms we're talking about. Got one now coming out of Ellaville around Sly County and down Georgia Highway 19 and just northeast of you in Americus. And there's that storm that came right through Auburn. Still some leftover rain there. And another one just south of Palaika coming into areas around Smith Station and Beauregard into Crawford, where we don't need the rain after yesterday's 8 inches in that area. As far as raincast models are concerned, we're going to be talking about this pattern becoming just like this. Hit and miss, but hazy, hot, and humid. That's what we need to do, is listen to our bodies and slow down this First Alert forecast, and it's straight ahead. The news starts right now.
On your side, this is News 3 First Edition.
Columbus City officials are preparing for a news conference on the government center shutting down indefinitely. This comes as a massive leak happened overnight. We are awaiting someone to take that podium. We'll let you listen in just ahead. Leads to the arrests of dozens in Chambers County on drug charges. Plus,
you look at what's happening in Europe, you look at what's happening in other places. We can't allow that to happen to the United States, not on my watch.
An outcry across the nation as hundreds of children are separated from their families as part of the White House's zero-tolerance immigration policy. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for trusting News 3. I'm Teresa Whitaker. We begin this afternoon with breaking news. The Columbus Police Department Homicide Unit is on the scene of a deadly shooting. Major J.D. Hawk confirms police were called out to a shooting at the 500 block of 3rd Avenue at 3:30 this afternoon. Major Hawk says the male victim and another person known to him had been having an argument throughout the afternoon. Police say they are searching for one suspect in this deadly shooting. Major Hawk says an EMS crew attempted to revive the victim. He was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Stay with News 3 for updates on this breaking story. On the Crime Watch, deputies in Chambers County report 60 arrests on more than 70 warrants in just over 2 weeks, largely thanks to citizen tips. Law enforcement says the higher than usual amount of wanted person discoveries came as part of increased patrols responding to everything from calls of shots being fired into homes to habitual speeders through high traffic areas. A weekend operation, Friday Night Lights, brought Chambers County deputies and participating law enforcement another 5 arrests. They found drugs, guns, and even one man in possession of police body armor. Members with the Sheriff's Department say they want citizens to know they hear their cries for help.
The Sheriff's Department wants the citizens here in Lafayette and the citizens here in Chambers County to know that we're going to do everything we can do to allow the citizens to go to bed at night and feel safe.
All right, if you see a problem in your neighborhood that needs attention, or if you have a tip that could lead law enforcement with their investigation, the line is always open and you're encouraged to make your voice heard. Find the anonymous tip line on our website at WRBL.com. In Columbus, the government center is shut down indefinitely following a water main break. Video provided by the mayor's office shows water leaking from the ceiling into a courtroom in the building. City officials say the break caused thousands of gallons of water to pour into the building, leaving behind significant damage. Happening now, Columbus Mayor Teresa Tomlinson and other city officials are getting ready to hold a news conference with an update on court procedures moving forward. We will have that for you.
Water removed.
There she is at the podium now. You can take a listen in.
At that point, both our individuals at the city, engineering, building codes can make a better assessment. Also, our insurer travelers that we talked about earlier this morning, they have designated this as a, quote, major case, end quote. So they will be coming back to assess once the water is removed from the floors to see exactly where we are.
All right, that's Mayor Teresa Tomlinson on the damage at the government center due to a major water main break. Now, coming up on News 3 Evening Edition at 6, our Ashley Garrett will have a live report. She'll tell us what it's going to take to repair that damage. Well, Steve Harvey spent Father's Day weekend here in Georgia. The comedian is best known for his talk show and as the host of Family Feud. but his visit was for something very different. Harvey spent his weekend with hundreds of teenagers. The Steve Harvey Mentoring Program with young men celebrated its 10th year this Father's Day weekend. The mentoring program welcomed hundreds of inner city teens from across the country to the Rock Ranch near Thomaston, Georgia. The camp was held this past weekend for teen boys who don't have a father at home. The boys come to the camp to learn what it means to be a man.
They'll have a clear, concise pictures of how to build a dream and accomplish the dream. Because your dream is actually the most important thing in your life.
From fishing and rock climbing to something as simple as camping, the boys are exposed to parts of life they would never otherwise experience. Harvey has paid the college tuition for some of the campers. He attempts to show each camper someone loves them and cares about them. Well, making news today, the Trump administration made the decision in April to institute a zero-tolerance immigration policy in which every adult who comes into the country illegally is sent to a judge for prosecution. That decision has led to children being separated from their parents at the border, and that has led to anger and heated protests across the country. Under President Bush, the U.S. referred all illegal immigrants for prosecution, but made exceptions for adults traveling with children. The Obama administration used the same model but detained families together. President Trump says this policy is about stopping the spread of violence from Central America to the United States because criminals use children as pawns to come here illegally.
It is absolutely the law of the land to do what we have to do. There are only two things you can do in this particular situation. You can release the entire family unit, or you can separate them. That's it.
We have seen a staggering 315% increase in illegal aliens fraudulently using children to pose as family units to gain entry into this country.
Well, this morning the president tweeted, "It is the Democrats' fault for being weak and ineffective with border security and crime. Tell them to start thinking about the people devastated by crime coming from illegal immigration. Change the laws." End quote. The president will meet with congressional Republicans to talk about potential immigration bills tomorrow. Well, across Georgia this afternoon, one family is suffering tremendous heartache after their babysitter's dog mauled a 5-month-old baby to death. It happened Tuesday night in a suburb of Atlanta. A family friend was watching the infant and his house. He says she fell asleep in a bed and then he went to sleep in another room. Someone called police at about 3 a.m. saying the man's German Shepherd killed the baby. The child's mother says the dog knew her entire family and never showed any aggression.
He ate by us, he slept by us, he followed us, and you know, sometimes I have her in her car seat and he just go over there and check on her and he'll walk away. I just never heard of nothing like this.
No charges have been filed so far. Animal control officials euthanized the dog. Well, iPhone will soon have a new way to help you in an emergency situation. How Apple is working with first responders. Plus, later, in Health Watch, the World Health Organization has announced it is classifying excessive gaming as a disorder. Details about how the move can help people deal with the illness. As always, the best way to stay connected with us here at WRBL is to like and follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram with the latest breaking news, sports, and weather. Right, Bob?
That's right, Teresa. And we're talking about this now on social media, how there's heat illness that's certainly around the corner if you don't listen to your body. Cooling off is going to be critical coming up these days to follow with the heat and humidity combined. We have heat index values approaching the 100-degree mark. Little relief here in Auburn for the latest rain that came through in thunderstorm. We'll talk about lesser chances straight ahead.
Now, News 3 brings you your first alert forecast.
Feel the heat already. You know, it's cooling down in Auburn because of a shower that came through. That's the weather story. This is summer. Thursday officially comes in right after 7 minutes after the hour 6 on Eastern time. What does this mean in the morning? We're looking at the first, technically, sort of full day, but Friday will be the full day of summer. The solstice is around the corner when you get these random thunderstorms popping up, and you're already seeing temperatures in the low to mid-90s, and then you cool down almost 10 degrees thanks to that, and it feels just miserable and muggy. While the heat index value, again, let's talk about it. Look how it's been reduced In Auburn, just because of a recent shower and thunderstorm, head down the road just to Montgomery. We're talking 100 degrees, upper 90s in Eufaula. You get the picture. You're going to see that kind of variance, which is typical summer stuff. And so cars and heat come to mind. Only takes 10 minutes for a car to heat up, and dashboards or seats can reach up to 180 to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, like really fast. So this is something we want to keep in mind. Our animals, our children, anybody shouldn't be left in a vehicle, period. Especially, on these days. It just happens so quick, folks. You think you can get away with it. Just be mindful of that. We're in a big hurry. So this is why we're reminding you and on your side about this heat and then the thunderstorms that go along with it. These two thunderstorms complexes are just down near Sumter County outside of Sly. And this one right now just kind of rumbling a little bit just out now south of areas of Auburn. Coming into the Crawford area, we're seeing some showers, areas that were just inundated yesterday. So we really don't need too much more rain here, folks, but hopefully this is not going to linger like it did yesterday coming through Russell County. Time you got into Macon County around Little, Texas, from all the way to south of Crawford, we had almost 8 inches of rain in just 6 hours. That's a considerable amount of rainfall. We get over towards the east, though, coming off of Georgia Highway 19, almost north to southbound, and into northeast Sumter County. You still got lightning, and you can hear the thunder in America, so you're still in striking distance, but all that is moving southward. Yes, and it'll continue that way. So raincast models don't do a really good job at pinpointing exactly where it may be because there's no feature out there like a front or something that you can measure from point A to point B. This is very hit and miss. Thanks to some moisture lifting out of the Gulf of Mexico, supplying us with the fuel and daytime heating, and we're going to have plenty of that just popping up these showers and storms in this first alert forecast. That's what we're going to be looking at coming up. And you can see by the Futurecast models, it's pretty consistent each afternoon. So the next 24 hours, we're looking at temperatures dipping down to mid-70s, morning sunshine, afternoon clouds, and then a straight pop-up shower or storm. Oh boy, is it summer already. So avoid the peak heating hours, you know what to do, and of course, wear light fitted colored clothing if you have to be outside. Muggy in the overnight tonight, obviously, 74 degrees, it's mild. And for your forecast tomorrow on Tuesday, that straight pop-up shower storm, but very warm, and we can even say hot coming up, especially for Wednesday, because when you get 95 around here, Teresa, you know it. You add the humidity, it's heat index values in the lower 100s. It's sometimes dangerous heat, and we're back in that period of time. It is what it is.
I'm ill prepared.
I know. Whoever is, right? Whoever is.
All right, thank you so much, Bob. In today's Consumer Watch, your iPhone will soon be able to share your exact location data with 911. According to the National Emergency Number Association, more than 80% of calls made to 911 each year are from mobile devices, but emergency responders only have a vague sense of where to send an ambulance, fire truck, or police car. Soon, however, Apple, along with the startup Rapid SOS, will be able to calculate a caller's location based on data collected from Wi-Fi access points, nearby cellular towers, and GPS. Rapid SOS specializes in sharing a cell phone's location information to the major programs used by emergency response departments. The feature will be available in the next iPhone software update later this year. In news across America today, a years-long mountaintop restoration project at Thomas Jefferson's home has finished with the opening of a brand new exhibit about Sally Hemings, Thomas Jefferson's mistress and slave. Tyler Hahn tells us her descendants were there in Charlottesville, Virginia, celebrating the opening, and he tells us how it now helps to tell the full story of the third president's home.
This group of people represents more than 200 years of an almost forgotten part of history at Thomas Jefferson's Monticello.
It's the most special event I've ever been a part of and the largest one in Monticello's history.
Andrew Davenport is one of the many descendants of Sally Hemings, Jefferson's mistress and slave, who gave birth to several of his children. Over the last few years, Davenport and dozens of other descendants helped craft this new exhibit about her life here. He describes Hemings as one of the most important Americans.
For a long time, she has been erased from the historical record. Her her descendants' stories were not believed. For Monticello, a internationally recognized institution, to finally give her the place that she deserves, it's momentous.
The new Hemings exhibit is the final piece of the mountaintop restoration project. From Mulberry Road to Jefferson's private quarters, when archaeologists discovered Hemings' living quarters adjacent to Jefferson's bedroom. Thomas Jefferson Foundation President Leslie Bowman.
Monticello is no longer just the story of a founding father who wrote the Declaration of Independence. It includes the narratives of the enslaved people who were denied its promise of equality.
Helping people understand this beautiful place was more than just a home to our third president.
Monticello is a tapestry of the people who made this place and this nation possible. Put simply, Monticello offers an opportunity to look closer.
For Davenport, he says it's getting closer to the bigger picture of what life was really like on a working plantation.
Descendant stories needed to be told, and Monticello is doing the right thing by doing that.
And that was Tyler Hahn reporting. When we return on First Edition, we'll take you to Health Watch, where the World Health Organization has announced it is classifying excessive gaming as a disorder. We'll have details about how the move can help people deal with the illness. Stay with us. News 3's. We're right back. On the Health Watch, excessive gaming has now been classified as a disorder by the World Health Organization. Meg Oliver tells us the move could lead to more help for people who suffer from the problem.
The World Health Organization added gaming disorder to the latest draft of its classification of diseases.
It's really a small percentage of people who game who have this disorder.
The health body says the disorder is characterized by the continuation or escalation of gaming despite the occurrence of negative consequences.
Originally, when I started gaming, it was fine.
Cam Adair, the founder of the website Game Quitters, says gaming forced him to drop out of high school.
I was pretending to have jobs, playing video games up to 16 hours a day, and eventually actually wrote a suicide note, and that's when I realized I needed to make a change.
This is similar to substance abuse.
Absolutely.
Psychologist Michael Fraser says he's seen an increase in the number of patients who come to him for help.
There's a lot of arguing, and sometimes it escalates and gets physical when the parents have to actually physically pull a controller out of their kids' hands.
It's estimated consumers spent $36 billion on video games last year. The designation may lead to insurance companies covering treatment. Dr. Fraser says he sees excessive gaming as a condition connected to other mental health issues.
They may be depressed, or they may be anxious, and they may be socially anxious. What these video games provide for these children is a social outlet where they don't have to leave their house, they don't have to run the risk of being bullied.
But some mental health experts have criticized the classification, saying there isn't enough evidence to support it. Meg Oliver, CBS News, New York.
The World Health Organization agrees that there currently isn't enough data, but says including the disorder will lead to more reliable studies. Well, are obese people more likely to suffer from depression and anxiety? Doctors in Boston say patients with high-fat diets may show more signs of anxiety, depression, and obsessive behavior than those with standard diets. But tests on lab mice revealed that the condition was reversed in mice taking antibiotics, which changed gut bacteria. Well, the more you lose, the more you win, say researchers looking at overweight people and knee problems. Previous data showed a 10% weight loss cut pain in half for patients with osteoarthritis. Now doctors say a 20% weight loss adds even more mobility, quality of life improvements, plus another 25% reduction in pain. We're going to have a final look at the forecast when we come back. But first, here's a look at what's coming up later tonight on WRBL. All right, my least favorite time of the year when the heat index values come into play.
You know, you feel you don't even have to work out, and you step outside and you feel like you had a good workout. That's the best part of summer, right? And then the ring around the collar, lady's voice goes in my hair. You know, my hair, I can hear it. Time to wash it out. It's going to get more and more humid here over the next couple of days as we enter the first full day of summer. And that's at the end of the week. We'll talk more about that. Now that the sun is back out here, I'm going to show you something how warm it heats up. Now we're 81. We had a shower come through, a little thunderstorm in Auburn, sun's back, humidity's up. When you have lower 70s like that, it feels kind of miserable. Look at some of these other heat index values. Look at that, 100 in Montgomery, Tallahassee, 102. A lot hotter down there in Florida, of course, near the Gulf of Mexico. But we'll have more on that, what you can do around your side, how to listen to your body, and how to stay cool.
All right, thank you, Bob. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you back here at the top of the hour.